There are coins locked in safes, buried in hillsides, and sitting quietly in collections that were never meant to exist. One is so illegal you can't even admit you own it. One is a fortune that someone buried and never came back for. And one might have jingled in the pocket of Jack the Ripper. By the end of the video, I want you to ask yourself one question. If you found one of these coins, would you actually want to keep it? Welcome back to FoolsAu. I love coins because they're tiny, solid pieces of history, but some of that history is dark. Tonight, I want to tell you 3 stories where coins aren't just collectibles, they're evidence, they're bait, they're silent witnesses to things people would rather forget. We're talking about a coin that can still make you a criminal, a buried fortune nobody came back for, an everyday Victorian change that might have passed through a killer's hands. Let's start with the coin the government tried to erase. Our first story starts in 1933 in the United States. The Great Depression was tearing the economy apart. Banks are collapsing. People are hoarding gold because they don't trust paper money. President Roosevelt signs an executive order. Ordinary Americans are banned from hoarding gold coins. You have to hand your gold in to the government or face punishment. That same year, the US Mint quietly strikes nearly 500,000 $20 gold coins. The 1933 Double Eagle. Beautiful piece, almost an ounce of gold each coin. Officially, none of them ever released. They're ordered to be melted down, erased from the money supply, as if they never existed. But a handful escaped, and that's where the trouble started. On paper, every 1933 Double Eagle is gone. In reality, a few coins slip through the cracks, taken as souvenirs, quietly swapped, quietly sold. Over the next few decades, the Secret Service agents start seeing them again. They turn up in dealers' stocks. They appear in private collections. They're whispered about and passed under the table between rich collectors. To the US government, every one of these coins is stolen property. Agents track them down, seize them, threaten owners with prison, and melt the coins down. One coin takes a stranger path. It ends up in a collection of King Farouk of Egypt. When he's overthrown, the coin vanishes. Years later, it quietly reappears in London. After long legal battles, the US government does something extraordinary. They agree to pardon one single 1933 Double Eagle and let it be sold legally. The legal Double Eagle has now been auctioned twice for record prices, most recently for around $18.9 million. It's one of the most extraordinary coins in history. Every other 1933 Double Eagle is still officially illegal to own. And that's where the coin stops being collectible and starts feeling like a curse. If you somehow discovered a 1933 Double Eagle today in a relative's safe, in a bag of old coins, you couldn't sell it. You couldn't show it off. You couldn't and shouldn't even admit you have it. Nearly a century later, the US government can still seize it and prosecute you for owning it. So somewhere in a safe deposit box or under a floorboard, there might be a 1933 double eagle sitting in the dark, a coin so valuable and so illegal, its owner can never tell anyone it exists. One double eagle was forgiven, others are ghosts, and if you ever meet one, you have to pretend you didn't. That's our first coin. The next one isn't illegal. It's perfectly genuine. Its secret is that the person who buried it never came back. Northern California. A couple are walking their dog along the quiet path on their own land. The same path they'd used for years. The same trees. The same fence posts. The same stretch of hillside. One afternoon, something tiny breaks the pattern. A rusty bit of metal just visible in the dirt. They scrape at it. It's an old can. Inside, gold coins. They keep digging and find 7 more cans buried in a neat line along the slope. Inside those 8 cans, 1,427 gold coins, all 19th century US, pieces dated between 1847 and 1894. Face value, $27,980. Real value, roughly 10 million. Somebody buried a life-changing fortune on that hillside and never came back. The find becomes known as the Saddle Ridge Hoard, the greatest hoard of buried US coins, gold coins, ever discovered. And nobody knows who buried it. There's no matching bank robbery, no missing stagecoach shipment, no old newspaper stories about a vanished fortune. Whoever owned these coins was careful, methodical, and completely anonymous. Someone, a rancher, a miner, a bank clerk with very sticky fingers, spent years converting their wealth into gold and buried them in a straight line, 8 cans hidden in the hillside, and no one ever returned. Did they suddenly die with the secret still in their head? A heart attack in a town one afternoon, never telling anyone where their life savings was. Were they murdered by someone who never learned about the hidden place? Did they simply misjudge the spot? As trees grew, fences moved, and the landscape shifted. If you buried the modern equivalent of 8 to 10 million pounds in your garden, would you forget whether it was? I don't think I would. For more than a century, those cans sat in the ground, rusting, waiting. Horses, wagons, cars, hikers, maybe even other treasure hunters passed right over the top. When the hoard finally came to light, the coins were authenticated and graded. Some went to collectors, some went to museums. The anonymous saver's life work turned into someone else's lucky day. That's what haunts me about the Saddle Ridge Hoard. Somewhere in history, there was a person whose entire life savings are now just a cool story for strangers. The couple out walking their dog got the payoff. The person who did the burying never got to see any of it. Our last story doesn't involve a hoard or a legal battle. It's about everyday coins and a murderer who paid his way through London. Whitechapel, London, autumn 1888. Jack the Ripper stalks the streets. 5 women murdered in an alley and doorways. Mutilated. No one ever charged. No name. Just a shadow in the fog. You've heard the stories before. The letters, the suspects, the endless theories. Almost nobody talks about the money. Jack the Ripper wasn't a ghost drifting through the city. He lived in London. He paid rent. He brought food. He drank in pubs. He took hansom cabs across the city at night. To do all that, he needs the same Victorian coins that sit in collections and dealers' trays right now. Pennies, threepence, sixpence, shillings, ordinary Victorian money in an extraordinary story. Imagine you're a cab driver in 1888. A polite, respectable man hails you. He gives you an address in Whitechapel. He steps out into the fog, hands you a sixpence, maybe even a tip, and disappears into the alley. Next morning, the newspapers scream about a woman found dead nearby. You read the description of the suspect, and it fills your stomach with dread. Was that him? Did you drive Jack the Ripper to a murder scene? Did he pay you with one of the coins now sitting in your pocket? You don't keep those coins, you spend them. They flow back into the city, shops, tills, wages, rent, pubs, spinning through thousands of anonymous hands. Victorian coins from 1888 are still out there, in collections, in museum trays. A little plastic flip at a coins fair. Any one of them could have sat in Jack the Ripper's pocket for that night. You can't prove it. There are no serial numbers, no transaction history, no CCTV. Just anonymous silver and copper passing from hand to hand, buyer to seller, killer to victim. I can hold an 1888 Victorian coin and wonder, did this pay for a cab ride on the night Mary Ann Nichols died? Did it settle a week's rent for a man whose landlady thought he was quiet, polite, and a little strange? Did it buy the knife he used? We'll never know. But somewhere in a drawer or a display case, there is a coin that Jack the Ripper definitely touched. You just don't know which one. 3 coins, 3 mysteries. One is illegal to own, one was buried and never reclaimed, and one might have sat in the pocket of a killer. That, to me, is the real magic of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, but some coins have secrets, dark secrets, mysteries that don't just sit in museums, they sit in your hand. Which of these 3 haunts you the most? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more dark histories, more unsolved mysteries, and more coins with secrets, subscribe to FoolsAu. Until next time, happy stacking. And remember, you never really know what gold lies hidden in plain sight, or what secrets might already be in your pocket.